Have you ever faced a moment that changed your life forever? Usher just opened up about his teenage years, sharing a shocking story. He revealed how a pivotal event with Diddy deeply affected him. In a recent court appearance, emotions ran high. Usher talked about a specific incident that happened when he was just 14. This experience left a mark on him, and he couldn't hold back his feelings in the courtroom. So what exactly did Usher reveal? He opened up about the pressure and influence he felt. Being around someone of Diddy's caliber at such a young age was daunting. Many young talents face unrealistic expectations, and Usher was no exception. Let's break this down. Usher first described the environment he was in. He was surrounded by established artists and immense fame. This led to feelings of insecurity and fear. Then Usher shared the moment that changed everything. He recounted a confrontation or influence from Diddy that made him question himself. Diddy's persona and status were overwhelming for a young artist. Usher's honesty sheds light on the darker side of fame. Imagine being a 14-year-old, trying to find your voice. Suddenly, you find yourself in situations meant for adults. Usher's vulnerability is relatable for many young creatives feeling the same pressure. In summary, Usher's courtroom tearful revelation highlights the impact Diddy had on him. It reminds us that fame comes with its own challenges. As young artists navigate their dreams, they must also confront the realities of the industry. If you found Usher's story compelling, let's keep the conversation going. Share your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe for more breaking news and stories like this. Usher took a deep breath, his voice trembling as he continued, "I remember feeling so small, surrounded by these titans of the industry. Diddy, he was larger than life, I was just a kid trying to find my way." The room fell silent, the weight of his words hanging in the air. In that moment, I realized that the dreams I had were intertwined with expectations I barely understood. He paused, wiping a tear from his cheek, as he reflected on the complexities of youth and ambition. He leaned forward, his gaze piercing through the audience. It wasn't just admiration, it was fear. Fear of not measuring up, fear of failing in front of legends. The courtroom listened intently, each listener fully aware of the gravity of his testimony. I constantly questioned if I had what it took, or if I was just a boy playing in a world meant for men. The emotional weight of his words seemed to resonate with everyone present, striking a chord within their own experiences of pressure and self-doubt. Usher's candidness illuminated the shadows that often lurk behind the bright lights of fame, creating an atmosphere filled with empathy and understanding. As he gathered his thoughts, Usher recalled a defining moment that made those fears manifest. "There was one instance with Diddy," he said softly, "where he looked at me and asked if I was ready for what was coming. The intensity of his gaze felt like a challenge, and Usher could sense the unspoken stakes. In that instant, I felt the weight of my entire future resting on my shoulders." He could still feel the heaviness of the words that lingered in the air, pressing down on his youthful spirit. The audience remained transfixed, each individual hanging on to every syllable as Usher revealed how such encounters forged his character amidst the pressure cooker of the music industry. "It was as if time stopped, and I could barely breathe," Usher continued, his voice cracking slightly. "In that moment, I wished for the guidance of someone who understood what I was going through." He looked around the courtroom, connecting with the audience, and added, "But instead, I found myself fighting against the current, trying to stay afloat." Usher's story serves as a poignant reminder of the perils that accompany fame and success, emphasizing that even the brightest stars can face moments of vulnerability. His experience encourages young artists to seek support and understanding in their journeys, knowing that they are not alone in their struggles. Together, let's continue to learn from these narratives and advocate for a kinder industry. Usher took a moment to collect himself, the memories swirling around him like a haunting melody. Every day was a new battle, he admitted, a fight not just for success, but for my identity. The audience felt the raw sincerity of his words, they could visualize the struggle he faced, pressing onward even when the shadows loomed large. He further elaborated, it felt as if I was constantly being weighed against giants, and I was merely a feather. Each achievement brought with it a new set of expectations. His voice quivered, surging with emotion as he continued, I wondered if I was truly talented or just lucky to be in the right place at the right time. The tension in the courtroom thickened as those words hung in the air, an echo of the insecurities that plagued not only Usher but many young artists daring to dream in an unforgiving industry. Yet, somehow, I found the strength to keep pushing forward, he said, determination softening his tone. The sincerity invoked feelings of solidarity, urging listeners to reflect on their own personal battles. Usher's eyes glistened as he recounted the moments that propelled him through dark times. I had to remind myself that my journey wasn't just about public acclaim, he reflected, a hint of resolve in his voice. It was about finding my truth amidst the chaos. The audience leaned in, captivated by the depth of his journey, one that transcended mere performance. Each note I sang, every lyric I wrote, was a piece of my spirit laid bare, he added, drawing the curtain back on his artistic process. The fear of failure was ever present, but so was the desire to create something authentic. A collective understanding filled the room, as those listening recognized their own fears mirrored in his words. This struggle was never solely mine, it belonged to all dreamers confronting the unforgiving realities of the world. The air shimmered with empathy, binding the hearts of those present, united by shared experiences and aspirations. Then came that fateful day, Usher said, his voice steadying, yet filled with anticipation as he navigated the crests and troughs of his narrative. I was on the cusp of an opportunity that could change my life. He took a moment to scan the audience, each face reflecting a mix of interest and concern. Diddy invited me to a private session, the kind of moment most artists dream of. The atmosphere shifted, charged with excitement and a hint of anxiety as he recounted the details. Stepping into that room felt monumental, but it also weighed heavily on my heart. Usher paused to let the significance sink in. All I could think about was whether I could impress him or if I was destined to fail. He leaned back slightly, searching for the right words to convey the depth of that moment. It was in that space that fear wasn't just an emotion, it morphed into a tangible presence, lurking in the shadows. His gaze intensified, each word carefully chosen, painting a vivid picture for those in the room. The pressure to perform was immense, and the stakes felt impossibly high, he shared honestly, it was a crossroads for me, defining whether I could rise to the occasion or crumble under the weight of expectations. The tension in the courtroom was palpable as people reflected on their own decisive moments, resonating with Usher's portrayal of youthful anxiety tangled with ambition. Usher continued, his voice lower but filled with intensity, when I walked in, I could hardly meet Diddy's gaze. The room was expansive, echoing with the unspoken tension. Diddy leaned back, arms crossed, and asked, "Are you ready for this, young blood?" The memory struck like a bolt, forcing him to confront the enormity of the question. In that instant, all my fears rushed back, what if I wasn't enough? He paused, drawing in a shaky breath, it felt like a test, a moment frozen in time where my future hung delicately in the balance. The audience remained absorbed in his words, vulnerable yet powerful, as Usher painted a picture of the precarious line between potential and pressure that he walked every day. That was the moment I knew, this wasn't just about music. It was about my identity, my spirit, and whether I could bear the weight of it all. His honesty resonated deeply, evoking empathy and understanding, as he revealed the true stakes behind his journey. Usher's voice broke the silence once more. I realized then that I couldn't just rely on my talent, I had to dig deeper. He leaned slightly closer, vulnerability radiating from him. I needed to forge a path, one where I truly belonged, beyond Diddy's shadow. The audience listened, captivated by the emotional intensity of his transformation, each word layered with hope and determination. This journey was not going to define me, but instead, I would define my journey. His eyes sparkled with newfound determination, underscoring the belief that he held within himself. It was about harnessing every bit of fear and turning it into fuel. As he spoke, the atmosphere shifted, charged with the energy of inspiration. That realization became a lifeline, pulling me back from the brink of self-doubt. He concluded, his expression resolute, signaling that the young boy striving for acceptance had transformed into a man ready to embrace his unique path. The courtroom erupted in a supportive silence, the collective spirit yearning for the courage to overcome their own challenges. Usher's eyes shimmered with reflection. I began to see that it was all a journey of self-discovery, a test of resilience. He paused, letting those words resonate. Each obstacle became a lesson, each failure a stepping stone. Through his journey, Usher learned that true strength lies not just in talent, but in the ability to navigate emotions and expectations. He encouraged others with this insight. In the end, it's about finding that inner voice and believing in your own worth. We are all stars in our own right, deserve